The Super League Grand Final is back where it belongs. A theatre of dreams. 80 gruelling minutes representing the pinnacle of our sport. Only a select few know what it's like to experience the Grand Final both on the pitch and from the stands. But today, these giants of the sport are here together, not just for the love of the game. Today is the final stop on a powerful journey impacting thousands of lives across the UK. Rugby league is the lifeblood of northern communities. It's woven into the social fabric. But there are other, harsher realities that connect places like Hull, Leeds, St Helens, Doncaster and Wigan. These areas have some of the highest male suicide rates in the country. 3 out of 4 suicides in the UK are men, and globally, on average, 1 man dies by suicide every minute of every day.
We're all big, strong men, aren't we? We all like to think we can deal with all the problems.
Same as we've all got physical health, we've all got mental health.
It can become a problem when we don't know how to manage it.
Now, during a time like no other, a first-of-its-kind programme is using elite athletes to drive real conversations around mental health.
This is a workshop for when people do go through problems, because we've all gone through problems.
We don't show our emotion, or we don't say when we're struggling. I want to break all those stigma.
15 legends of the game have set out on a journey to share their own untold stories and deeply personal experiences, visiting the heart of rugby league communities as part of Movember's pioneering Ahead of the Game programme. A journey to change the way young men and others think.
In my generation, we were told not to talk about mental health. But your generation, we're encouraging you to do the exact opposite. 10 years ago, I lost those 2 friends. They chose to take their life. Some of the things what they wish they'd known about, you guys are going to know about today.
It's game day at the Shea in Halifax for a Panthers side that includes France international Kevin Leroy.
Kevin,
Ouais.
comment ça va?
Bien, bien, toi?
J'ai fini. Parlez-vous anglais?
Un petit peu, a little bit.
Kev is one of 15 players giving up their time off the pitch to help educate the next generation about mental health. His path into rugby league is a unique one. The sport has defined him, and he's come to value the importance of social connections and the difference people around him can make. As a professional sportsman, mental fitness is as important as physical fitness in how Kevin performs on a match day. His journey with mental health started well before becoming a star though.
As far as I can remember, I always had mental health symptoms. Couldn't find my place at home. I didn't feel I was loved. My mom never really gave me some affections, and that's something I really suffer about. I always feel like I was a liability for her. At the age of 6, I've been taken away from my parents to grow up in a social service house. And obviously in those kind of places, there's no place for showing emotion or feelings. You have to bottle up and grow a thick skin. Rugby has always been my exit door, so I put my heart in rugby. This is a place I felt valued. My mom used to beat me up quite often, so I used to go to school often with bruises and stuff like that, so they used to tell me what happened and just saying, oh, just fall over or stuff like that. But one day I went to school and I had 1 or 2 teeth missing. Came back from school one night and my dad was there, my mom, and two people that I didn't know, a man and a woman, around the table and telling me that tonight I wasn't going to sleep at home. So I was 6, my little sister was 3-year-old, and I felt literally abandoned and loads of question mark because I was like, why am I taken away and my sister can stay with my mom and dad? We had to sleep in I remember in a bedroom with 12 of us on bunk beds. There were no bedtime story. It was quiet now and dark. And I remember at night, that's the time I was crying. I started playing rugby. And that was basically my happy place.
Kev's personal challenges didn't end as a youngster though. In 2016, his playing contract with Hull KR came to an unexpected end.
The first real adversity, then big adversity that you come through as a professional is a big injury.
Yeah.
And how did that affect you?
It was tough because not really anybody checked up on me. So I was starting to feel homesick and lonely. And at the end of that year, I still had 2 years on my contract and basically went to the office after the £1 million game and said, there's no contract for you. Yeah. And that literally happened 3 days after I bought a house. Yeah. And coming back home when newborn baby, expanded no back at work yet, I was like, what am I going to do? So I was just like, just train on my own, yeah. And from that, go signed by CAS.
Yeah, great.
But literally, on my first week, I started CAS same. I was like, God, that was a new start. Felt really motivated and received a call from mom telling me that my sister took her own life. That was tough because a year before that, she tried. And I've done this mistake is coming back and thought she was fine. So when a year after that happened, I just felt like a bad big brother because I haven't checked up on her because had this habit to just be on my own that it didn't came in mind that now I had to check up on her.
That's why you got involved in ahead of the game, isn't it?
My sister has been a big factor. But also it was the fact when I was in the hall, people have been reaching out to me and now I'm feeling a lot better. I feel like it's my duty to give back. You all right?
Yeah.
Good?
What's your name?
Kevin?
Oh yeah, he told us about it.
Especially now being a dad, I don't want my son to even experience 1% of what I experienced as a child. But also I don't want any other child to experience being unloved, being useless, being like not acknowledged. And I want to help those kids to build up their self-belief. Because if you know your quality, you know how good you are, when you get a setback, you'll be like, do you know what? I can do it. So there's no right or wrong, just want to...
Kevin's taking that message into local sports clubs to help players of the future with their own mental fitness outside of the game.
Who want to take me for a push-up challenge?
Me.
Come on, I'll take you. I'll take you.
Please.
No, I'm joking, you can sit down, but...
Stats show that half of all mental health issues start before the age of 14 and 75% start before the age of 24. It's why intervening early could make all the difference in giving young people the skills to cope with the challenges ahead of them.
For example, do you recognize any of these signs? Did you feel like your heartbeat, when you told me, no, know me, did you feel your heartbeat have been going higher? Did you feel a bit like sweaty hands? Before most of the game, I feel really anxious. I feel all those things. And maybe, you know, another situation, it might be a bit too young, but you know this girl you fancy in your class? When you're not going to see him, you're going to see her tomorrow. Yeah, I can tell you have one. You have one that you fancy. You feel a bit all of this, oh God, she's there, and you feel like shortness of breath, but that's absolutely fine. It's not normal if you feel like that constantly for a longer period of time, for days, for weeks. This is when it needs to be addressed.
Kevin's session at Cottingham Tigers isn't a one-off. He and 14 other Rugby League pros have spent the last 18 months on the ground with grassroots boys, girls and wheelchair rugby clubs, trying to prevent the next generation from going through the same kind of struggles that they did.
These people on the board, do you recognise any of them? Yeah, so they're all at the top of their field, or at some point in their careers, they've been top of their field, but they've all shared a mental health issue or mental health problem. It just shows that you can be really successful and really amazing at your sport, but still struggle with mental health illness or problem, and that's okay.
It's just about literally recognising things, whether it be a teammate, family member, whatever it might be. And if you spot some of those signs and symptoms, potentially we can not just help ourselves out, but we can help somebody else out. And there's no better understanding and feeling of that. You know, when somebody is struggling, it's about being able to put your arm out. When you boys or guys or girls will go over in that chair, and I guarantee there's a teammate that'll come up beside and they'll put their arm out and they'll pull you up off ground. So why don't you do that in life?
Back at Cottingham, Kevin's reflecting on how similar training could have helped him, and in turn his younger sister.
How she felt. And maybe she could have told me that she wasn't feeling right, and maybe I would have been able to help her. Do you understand? So that's why it's really important. And for example, if one of your friends is talking to you about suicide or self-harm, you need to take it really, really seriously. If someone is telling you that, that's a red flag, and you need to speak to an adult straight away. So that's good for me. Just remember one thing, be a good mate. That's really important. And yeah, and take care of yourself as well. That's really, really important. So thanks for listening to me.
Should we do the push-up contest?
Do you want to do it? Oh, let's go. Let's do a bit of push-up contest then.
Ready.
So ready? Go. Let's go.
I hit rock bottom. That was when my nightmare began, really.
You always want it to be a fairy tale ending, and it didn't happen for me.